Hello again, everyone. Edwin Lurie back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I want to be talking about transit Mars making a square opposition or inconjunct aspect to one's natal Neptune. Now, when we're talking about transits that involve Mars, this could be about energy, vitality, courage, fortitude, drive, motivation, anger, acrimony, initiative, enterprise, and when you have this transit of Mars basically making a adverse aspect to one's natal Neptune, I'm going to elaborate on that when I talk about basically adverse aspect. Well, the squares and oppositions, of course, are adverse negative aspects in astrology. The inconjunct can be seen as neutral, but an inconjunct aspect does often require an adjustment. It's a transition. Those things can have some exasperation connected with them. They can be tension filled. So when I say, so again, this is like really basically an adverse aspect collectively with all these aspects together. It's basically an adverse aspect. That's how I see it. Now, the thing about this is, again, if you have the transit Mars making basically an adverse aspect to one's natal Neptune, it could be about the energy, vitality, the courage, the fortitude, drive, motivation, anger, acrimony, initiative, and enterprise could be conflicting with your dreams. You may not have the enthusiasm, the exuberance, that drive and motivation to pursue your dreams at this time. If it's in Capricorn, you'd say your natal Neptune's in Capricorn. It could be just general career ambitions, or something more specific, like with business or politics or the government, as some examples. Neptune is what we also fantasize about, so it might be something where you might feel more like being in the daydream mode. As far as if there's any fantasy you're trying to pursue, that energy and vitality may simply not be there to actually attain, and that could apply to your dreams as well. They all go, fantasies, dreams all go hand in hand, I would say. And your Neptune is also connected with your ideals as well. So it could be something where you might, it could be an acrimonious situation. Maybe might be conflicting with you attaining some kind of ideal at this point in time, or you don't really have that drive, that initiative to pursue it at this point in time. If your Neptune is in the fourth house, as an example, it could be something home related or something with the family, for example. Now, Neptune is also chaos as well, can be connected with chaos and confusion. This could be a situation where, you might be trying to make actions, and Mars is action oriented, and it might be difficult to do so because you might be dealing with some chaos or some confusion in your life at this time. It can be sometimes chaotic anger. This could manifest from time to time. Mars is about anger and acrimony, of course. Neptune can be, chaotic. Neptune is also about the dissolving and dissipation. And it might be where you feel your energy and your drive might feel like this, where it's really dissolving at this point in time. It could be where you might feel actually more like fantasizing and daydreaming, and you might feel more lethargic at this time, more so than usual, more like fantasizing, daydreaming, as opposed to taking action on something right now. And could also be a conflict with your, doing, actions and trying to sleep at this time as well, and relax and be lethargic. This could be, that time where you might be in, some tug of war between the two, and trying to figure out what you actually need to do, what actually takes precedence over the other at this point in time. And could also be, keep in mind, this Neptune is also connected with deception and duplicity. So this could be, really, this could be contentious situations with somebody over some kind of deception or fraud or duplicity at this time. If you have Neptune in Scorpio and or the 8th house, it could be some insurance fraud or deception at this time, or something with taxes that was deceptive. Maybe that has something to do, with you being, could be upset at this time. Um, could also be, as well, looking at this transit, you look at uh, Neptune is also associated with forgiveness and surrender, and it might be maybe you're too angry at somebody or something where it's harder to forgive at this time, more so than usual. It could be where trying to find even the drive, the motivation to forgive somebody might be difficult at this time, or even surrendering. When I say surrender, I don't mean necessarily like literally surrendering like to the police or authorities. I mean surrendering yourself, giving in, if you were wrong, or if you're trying to be the better man or woman by actually surrendering, you know, by giving in, by saying that maybe you were wrong or you want to apologize, even if it wasn't entirely your fault. It might be more difficult to do it. It might take more energy, some kind of energy or vitality on your part in order to do so at this time. Now, anatomically speaking, Neptune is connected with the feet, the toes, the lymphatic and immune system. It can be connected with general weakness and also diseases. And the fact these are things where if you have this transit, remember that Mars is about our energy and vitality, and it might be if you have any problems that are connected with the feet, the toes, the lymphatic or immune system, could either be causing more anger, or maybe it's having more of an effect on your vitality and energy. It's adversely perhaps having an adverse effect on your energy and vitality at this time, and it may be harder to take action on matters if you have any of these issues at this time of this transit. And another thing too is that Neptune is also connected with isolation. It's escapism. So it might be a time when you might be trying really hard to maybe escape a volatile situation as opposed to confronting it at this time. You might feel it might just be better to just lay low, to be more passive at this time, more so than usual. It's something where, as well, when you look at transit like this as well, I mean, Neptune is also about imprisonment, so it's just important to be careful at this time. If you're having this transit, remember that Mars can be connected with violence and volatility, and Neptune being associated with incarceration and imprisonment, that you don't do, something, act in haste or impulsively, or do something, out of anger that might result in you being incarcerated or imprisoned at this time. It could also be, Mars is also connected with accidents as well. Remember, Neptune is associated with drugs and alcohol. So in some isolated cases, this transit may manifest in some accident that may put you, behind bars at this time if you're drinking or driving, and maybe you're just, or something happens where you're not paying attention, when you're driving at this time. Neptune can blur things, to say the absolute least. Another thing too, looking at this transit now, another way that this transit may manifest and be expressed, it could be perhaps not motivated, reiterating what I said before, not motivated to pursue your dreams, your fantasies at this time. Say, for example, if the natal excuse me, people. If the natal Neptune is in Sagittarius, those dreams may be connected with sports or religion, publishing, advertising, exploration, adventure. As some examples, it can also be, another way, this transit may be expressed. Some cases it could be contentious situations with, you could say, Neptunian people. It could be less fortunate, such as the impoverished, the oppressed, homeless, the hungry, people that were maybe formerly incarcerated. It could be people that you might see as weak-willed, or maybe even people in a Neptune profession like the metaphysical, which includes astrology, poets, dancers, people that are very spiritual, the situation with them may be a little bit more contentious than usual at this time. Hold on a moment, people. Now, sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, now say for example, if the transit Mars is in Taurus, it might be over some, monetary situation or loyalty, persistence. In some cases with these people, maybe that's could be a reason why the situation may be more contentious with them. I'm being flippant when I say this, of course. Maybe there's less propensity for accidents, which is Mars, and forgiveness, which is Neptune. But I'm joking as far as that goes, being flippant. But anyway, now it could also be that that accidents, may adversely, affect something, maybe that you're doing that's Pisces related. It could be work related. It could be something with the metaphysical, again, which includes astrology, poetry, dancing, photography, chemistry, as some examples. It can also be, another way this transit may manifest. It could be a physical injury, which is Mars may conflict with your sleep, your relaxation at this time, even trying to meditate, perhaps in some cases. Those all could be Neptunian things. Let's say if the transit Mars is in Gemini at this time, it could be an injury with the arms, the hands. It might be some of the nerves, fingers, as some examples. Now, another thing too, it might be harder to find the courage and fortitude in some cases to escape a situation. I'm reiterating what I said previously. Now, with an example, if Neptune is in Scorpio in the 5th house, as an example, your natal Neptune in Scorpio in the 5th house, well, it could be an obsessive or controlling lover, as an example at this time. And anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Leonard saying stay well.